All right, Jackson. So let's get this rolling right away. I'm going to share my screen. All right. So first, I'm going to go through your intake form and just look at like some of the things that stick out to me. All right. So first of all, I there's not a height slot on here, but I assume you're around like that 6'1". You listed that you're 170. First things first, I think that like 170 is kind of like the base like floor of weight that we would want to see for a guy that's about your height. Um, uh, Something that a really well respected trainer in this field recommends, Josh Heenan at Advanced Therapy Performance, is 2.5 times your height in inches as the minimum body weight. For you, that would be about like 180, 185. And you listed that as your goal weight. So it seems like you've kind of got that idea that you have to, or that you should probably gain at least 10 to 15 pounds probably to start with in order to make a little bit of a jump there. I could see you making that 2 to 3 mile an hour jump that you desire solely from that little bit of weight gain right there. So definitely make that a primary focus of your training. Second thing here that sticks out is your spring season doesn't start until around March 25th. So I go to a D3 in California called Occidental College. My school season starts, I report January 15th and my season starts January 29th. So I have a much stricter timeline than you do. You actually have some time here to have like a bit of a velo phase before you actually get into your season, which is great. That's exciting. Playing summer baseball, no. All right, so you're shut down. You've been shut down for a little bit more than 2 weeks, it seems. We're going to put you on a program that's going to get you ramped up in about 4 weeks. Like if you have any more information about your like desired ramp up, I don't know if you've like done a proper ramp up before, but this is something that also like on its own can give you like a good little velocity boost right when you're right when you can come back. So we're looking for low hanging fruit. And a ramp up is one of those things that, if it's not executed properly, can really hurt your ability to perform early in the season and particularly late in the season. All right, next thing that stood out to me was one of these strength numbers, or a couple of them actually. So I can tell you right away that your long toss distance around 270, 280 feet. So on a crow hop, 270 to 280 feet exiting your hand is probably somewhere between like 85 and 88 miles an hour. So that tells me right now basically that you can pull down anywhere between like 85 and 88, which on the mound should translate to topping somewhere between like 82 and like 85, which is right about where you're at. But if you can only long toss around 270, 280 feet, that probably means that the peak throwing velocity that you have in your body right now is around like 85. And so something that we're going to do is program a long toss for you, probably once or twice a week. And getting that north of that 300-foot mark will increase your velocity ceiling. You'll like your body will execute more efficient patterns just by being able to get that back to that 300 foot plus mark. Your goal peak velocity is around 86, 87. So if you can get this past 300 feet, or at 300 feet exactly, the ball has to exit your hand at 90 miles an hour. So if you're doing a running crow hop or like a 1-2 step crow hop, and the ball as it exits your hand goes 300 feet, the ball exited your hand at about 90 miles an hour. And so that should translate to a mound to topping about 86, 87. So that's another thing where it's just like that independent variable alone could get you to your goal, to where you want to be. Of course, we're going to attack all these things, and that's going to give you the best outcomes generally, but that's a good place to start. Your dumbbell bench press five rep max, it's okay. I think getting that up to like the 80 to 90 pound range could definitely benefit you as well. The pecs are some of your main accelerators for the throw, so making sure that those are strong, stable, mobile. It's going to be a really important part of your program as well. So this is the part that stuck out to me the most. Your back squat 5 rep max is 295, which is that's fucking strong. Your trap bar deadlift 1 rep max around 315 is not as strong. So this tells me that your force absorption, so your ability to accept force into the ground, is actually pretty good. Like it's basically like where it needs to be. I don't think you would get a lot of return from like getting that 5 rep max from 295 to 345 or whatever. But we want this trap bar max to be at least 400 pounds. So I haven't programmed your strength, your lifting program yet. I'm going to get to that tomorrow. But I can tell you right away that we're going to be prioritizing force production from the ground up. So that's going to mean there's going to be a trap bar deadlift. There's going to be likely a seated box jump. So something where you're starting at that low seated position and you have nothing to do except produce force upward. So those are going to be 2 priorities within your program. Max amount of body weight chin-ups, that's good. 16, that's a great mark to hit. Just as you gain body weight, make sure that that doesn't creep below that like 12 to 13 rep range. But chin-ups are going to be in your program as well. Let me see, what else do we have? Right, so this hip injury. Okay, so when you said that it happens when you go too low on your squat, I assume that that means that the irritation that you're getting comes in the hip flexors. So that like top front of your legs, like right near your hip bones. I assume that that's the tightness that you're referring to. If it's not, you can let me know. But that's a good adjustment to make moving to a box squat, because some of us like simply do not have like that like range in our hips to get that depth that you desire. But one of the things that we're immediately going to do with that, as any pain is alarming and should be addressed, I could assume that you either just like independently have like weak or tight hip flexors. So we're going to roll out your hip flexors. We're going to strengthen your hip flexors. But another common culprit for this type of thing is having a weak base of glute strength. So you are going to have some form of a hip thrust or a glute bridge within your program. I can already tell you that as well. Let me see. Are there any other things that I wanted to address in here? Oh, well, one of the things that you noted in that hip injury squat comment is then when you get too low, you curl your lower back. So that's something that is so common among just like all athletes generally. It's something called anterior pelvic tilt, which is something you can like do your own research on if you'd like to. But again, like a common culprit of that is a weak back, weak glutes, like that kind of deal. So we're going to attack all that stuff. Weak core, like that can be another culprit as well. But we'll get after it and make sure that that's not an issue for you anymore. But it was a good adjustment for you to make, like personally, to switch from a deep back squat to a box squat if it was irritating. All right. So food, eating. It looks like right here you just listed that you generally eat 3 meals a day. So I'm a guy who struggles with body weight. I topped like 86.7 at like 145 pounds. Okay. So like I really know what it's like to be that guy who body weight is their low hanging fruit. Okay. So like, and I'm working on this food thing, getting up to the weight that I need to be, like right here with you. So we're gonna be doing this together. So don't sweat it. But the thing that's helped me a lot since like kind of starting this weight gaining journey is understanding that, okay, so like, let's look at this first meal at 9 a.m. Sausage, egg, and cheese on a croissant, like great base meal. Probably altogether is actually only about like 500 calories though. And if we're looking to achieve that like 3,500 plus calorie goal for each day, you're going to need to be consuming a lot more calories than just that alone. So like that is a start, but we need to supplement that with like chocolate milk, yogurt, peanut butter, like something like some sort of like fatty like nut butter or dairy product that's dense in calories, so that you can get up to that like 8, 9, 1,000 like calorie sort of range in your first meal of the day. Like this lunch meal is pretty good. Like all these meals are generally pretty good. It's just that like even if you get large servings of like chicken and steak, pasta, like rice, like they're going to be very high in protein, but they're going to be low in fat and low in calories, which is like just not going to cut it for a guy that needs to gain weight. So like really start prioritizing like supplementing your high protein, high carb meals with like something that's like dense calorically. And so like while that might make you like lose your abs a little bit, like it's going to be worth it in the long run. It's going to make you throw harder. It's going to make you a better performer on the field. Right. So your warm up routine, it looks pretty good. We're going to give you a really, really specific warm up routine all the way from this dynamic warm up all the way through your plyos before you start your actual bullpen. So we're going to take care of that for sure. What do you feel like during your best outings? Smooth, effortless, and high spin. So this is going to transfer us pretty well into your actual mechanical video. So let me stop sharing here. And now I want to share this. All right. So this is the video that you sent in. In the future, if you want to send me a video that's like better quality, like just right from the side or right from the back or both, like that would be great if I could go into like more detail on that. But this is a pretty good start. So you're mechanically very clean, like just to start off. So I think that if you get your strength numbers where you need to be, your body weight where it needs to be, and your long toss where it needs to be, and if we don't touch anything mechanically, I think you're a mid to upper 80s arm. Okay. So like that's first and foremost, like your biggest low hanging fruit, your biggest like gap between you and being that like mid to upper 80s arm is going to be the stuff that happens like outside of your actual delivery, because your delivery on its own is good. It's not a low hanging fruit at all. So let's go through it. Play one time through. All right. So a couple things stick out to me right away that I fucking love. So first of all is hands over head. This is a great, just like rhythmic tool. Don't let any coach bully that out of you. It's like makes you very like rhythmically sound. You look athletic, on time, like everything is good. So the main thing that I want to get after right here is, so you see, you do this, like you have this rhythmic glove going up over the head and coming down, and then you tuck it sort of into your belly button, and the glove is low, low, low. And then your arm swing goes to that low point right there. And it seems like you kind of struggle to get up and on time before actually pulling the ball into release. So it seems like you're getting a little bit stuck down there. So what I want you to do, or just play around with mechanically and see how it goes, is starting with your hands when you come down from your leg lift high. So I want you to have this rhythmic down, up, into the swing. Like I don't want it to be down and have you like fight to get up and then go. I want it to be down, this like cyclical pattern. And the example that I want to show you to sort of like illustrate that is the best pitcher in the fucking world, Jacob deGrom. So you can see right here. So deGrom gets to this low point around the belly button, and then it comes up, and then with the leg lift, it comes down. And you can see that going up in the first place, coming down, assists in his ability to get up on time into this position. So he's not getting stuck behind his body at all. He's letting that starting high, coming low, coming back up pattern assist in getting his arm up on time. So that's something that I want you to just like play around with and see if it gives you that smooth, effortless sort of like arm swinging up into like right where it needs to be and pulling it through in a timely fashion. Like I want to see if that alone gives you some of that feeling, and you can give me feedback on that. But that's just something that I wanted to point out right away. But like you'll see that big league pitchers, guys that throw 100, a lot of the times that arm, while it's still in the glove, it comes up with the leg lift and then goes down with the leg lift. Like it's this rhythmic traveling pattern, and it goes sort of like in this big figure eight pattern. So I want you to try to capture that and see if it gives you that like smooth, effortless ball coming out of the hand, explosively, that kind of feeling. All right. So hopefully that was a good start for you. That's a lot, I know, to take in. It seems, I'm sure, like you're going to have to work at 1,000 different things at a time. All that's going to be taken care of in your program, in your strength program, in your warm up, in your throwing program. We're going to do our best to get you on a good path. And I think that you're not as far away from being a consistent mid 80s arm than maybe you think you are. So Yeah, that I hope that this was helpful for you. I'm excited to send over all of your stuff. Make sure that when you do it, you fucking destroy it. So we can really see how effective this philosophy that we have is going to be for our guys. So thanks for hopping on board. Thanks for trusting us with your development here. And yeah, good luck, man. Get to work.